Hello, and welcome to the Senior Garden Guide, where we make plant care simple, practical, and easy to follow. This morning, I received a beautiful Christmas cactus from my neighbor, and although the plant still looks green, healthy, and full of life, there is one frustrating problem. It has refused to flower for a very long time. She has already tried several different techniques, but nothing seemed to bring those beautiful Christmas cactus blooms back. So today, we're going to give this plant a fresh start using a few simple care techniques and homemade solutions made from ingredients that are easy to find at home. The goal is not simply to pour something onto the plant and hope for flowers. Instead, we're going to improve the plant's growing conditions, redirect some of its energy, encourage healthy roots, and give it the support it needs before the blooming season arrives. If you're new to the Senior Garden Guide, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications because we'll be sharing plenty of simple houseplant and gardening tips designed to make plant care easier. Now let's begin. Before trying to encourage flowers, it's important to understand why a Christmas cactus can remain green and healthy, but still refuse to bloom. One common situation is that the plant keeps concentrating its energy on producing fresh stem segments rather than preparing itself for flower buds. When the plant is constantly focused on new vegetative growth, it may not have the right balance of energy and environmental signals needed for flowering. That's why our first step is to carefully inspect the tips of the plant and remove some of the very young, soft stem segments that are actively growing. Using clean fingers, gently twist or snap away the newest segments at their joints, taking care not to damage the mature, healthy sections underneath. The goal is not to heavily prune the plant or remove large portions of healthy growth. We only want to remove selected young tips, and we should never take away too many sections at once because excessive pruning can place unnecessary stress on the plant. By making this small adjustment, we can reduce some of the plant's focus on producing more new stems and allow it to redirect resources toward maintaining mature growth and preparing for future flowering when the proper light, temperature, watering, and seasonal conditions are present. And don't throw those removed pieces away just yet, because they can become new Christmas cactus plants. I'll show you exactly how to propagate them later in this video. Now let's prepare our first homemade solution. For this step, we're going to use something that is probably already sitting in your kitchen: onion skins. Instead of throwing the outer skins into the trash, we can use them to prepare a mild homemade infusion. Start by peeling several onions and collecting the clean outer skins. Onion skins contain various naturally occurring compounds and small amounts of minerals, including potassium, calcium, and magnesium. However, remember that homemade plant solutions should be considered a gentle supplement rather than a replacement for balanced plant fertilizer. To prepare the infusion, place the onion skins into a clean glass or heat-safe container. If you're watching from another part of the world, tell me your country in the comments. I always enjoy seeing how many different places our gardening community reaches, and it's wonderful to know that plant lovers from different countries can learn and grow together. Now carefully pour approximately 500 milliliters of hot water over the onion skins. Stir everything gently with a spoon so the skins are completely soaked and the water can draw out some of their soluble compounds. Cover the container and allow the mixture to sit for about 1 hour. This soaking period gives the water time to extract the soluble components from the onion skins. After approximately an hour, allow the mixture to cool completely, then strain it carefully so that only the liquid remains. We now have our onion skin infusion. Before using it around the plant, dilute it with another 500 milliliters of room temperature water. Dilution is important because homemade mixtures can vary in strength, and a gentler solution is safer for the plant and its root zone. Pour the diluted mixture into a clean watering can and slowly apply it around the base of the Christmas cactus, avoiding excessive saturation. Watering around the root zone allows the solution to reach the growing medium without unnecessarily soaking the leaves. The most important thing to remember here is that Christmas cactus does not like sitting in constantly wet soil. Good drainage is essential, especially for older plants and plants grown indoors. If you prefer, you can also place a small amount of the diluted solution into a clean spray bottle and lightly mist the stems. But do not drench the plant or keep the foliage constantly wet. Good airflow is especially important because excessive moisture on the plant can encourage fungal problems. After applying the treatment, Place the Christmas cactus somewhere dry and well ventilated, away from harsh direct sunlight, and allow it to rest for approximately 72 hours. This gives the plant time to settle after pruning and watering while avoiding unnecessary environmental stress. Remember, healthy flowering doesn't happen because of one magical ingredient. It comes from consistent care, proper light, suitable temperatures, correct watering, good drainage, and the plant's natural seasonal cycle. Now let's return to the stem pieces we removed earlier. These little sections may look insignificant, but they can become completely new plants with patience. Since fresh cuttings have no established roots, they can lose moisture faster than they can replace it. For that reason, use healthy sections rather than keeping long strings of soft new growth. Allow the cuttings to dry slightly at the cut area if needed. Then prepare a small pot filled with a clean, well-draining growing medium. Insert the base of each cutting only deep enough to keep it upright. You don't need to bury the cutting deeply. Gently press the growing medium around its base so it remains stable without compacting the soil too tightly. Give each cutting enough space so air can move around it and new roots have room to develop. If you're growing Christmas cactus indoors and have questions about your own plant, feel free to share your experience in the comments. Tell us what worked for you, what didn't work, and what type of houseplants you're growing. A gardening community becomes more useful when we share our experiences with one another. After planting the cuttings, place the pot somewhere cool with bright, indirect light. Avoid moving the container unnecessarily during the first couple of weeks. A stable environment can help reduce stress and give the cutting time to focus its energy on developing roots. Keep the growing medium lightly moist when necessary, but never leave it constantly soggy. Once the parent Christmas cactus has had around 72 hours to settle, we can prepare another homemade solution using a familiar kitchen ingredient, banana peel. Most people eat a banana and immediately throw the peel away, but banana peels contain organic material and minerals, including potassium and smaller amounts of other nutrients. Potassium is particularly important in overall plant nutrition, although it should not be considered a guaranteed flowering treatment by itself. To prepare the mixture, take a clean banana peel and cut it into small pieces. Smaller pieces create more surface area, which allows water to contact more of the peel during the soaking process. Place the chopped peel into a clean container, and then add approximately 1 teaspoon of coffee. Coffee grounds or coffee-based materials can contain small amounts of nitrogen and minerals, but they should always be used carefully because too much can affect the growing medium. For this homemade infusion, we're using only a small amount. Now pour approximately 500 milliliters of hot water over the banana peel and coffee mixture. Stir everything thoroughly so the pieces are fully immersed. Cover the container and let it steep for about 1 hour. After the mixture has completely cooled, strain it carefully and keep only the liquid. Add another 500 milliliters of clean, room temperature water to dilute the solution. Now our second homemade plant infusion is ready. Pour the diluted liquid into a watering can and apply a modest amount around the base of the Christmas cactus. Do not flood the pot, and always make sure excess water can drain freely from the container. This type of homemade infusion can provide small amounts of soluble nutrients, but the plant's long-term nutrition should still come primarily from an appropriate balanced fertilizer used according to the plant's needs. If you choose to miss the plant, use plain clean water rather than repeatedly coating the foliage with homemade mixtures. Clean leaves and good airflow are more important than frequent spraying. If today's video is helping you understand your Christmas cactus more clearly, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the Senior Garden Guide. And if your plant is struggling, tell me what you're seeing in the comments. Yellow leaves, no flowers, weak stems, root problems, or slow growth, and we can learn from those experiences together. Now let's talk about patience, because this is where many gardeners give up too early. After approximately 15 days, the propagated cuttings may begin developing small, white roots. You may also notice fresh growth appearing from the segments. These are encouraging signs that the cuttings are adapting to their new environment. If you gently check one cutting and feel resistance, that can indicate that roots have begun gripping the growing medium. Be gentle, because newly formed roots are fragile and can easily be damaged by repeated checking. Once the cuttings have had more time to establish themselves, we can give them another mild homemade supplement. This time, we're going to use rice water. Rice contains starch and small amounts of various nutrients and compounds, and rice water is often used by gardeners as a mild supplemental treatment. It should not be viewed as a complete fertilizer, but it can be used occasionally as part of a broader care routine. To prepare it, measure approximately 3 tablespoons of uncooked rice and place it into a clean glass or container. Add around 500 milliliters of room temperature water and stir thoroughly. Allow the rice to soak while gently stirring so some of the soluble material moves into the water. After soaking, strain the rice and keep the liquid. Then dilute that rice water with another 500 milliliters of clean, room temperature water. This produces a mild solution that can be applied around the root zone. Water both the established Christmas cactus and the newly rooted cuttings carefully, making sure the growing medium remains well drained. For young cuttings, the priority is strong root development and stable growth. For mature plants, the priority is maintaining healthy foliage and roots while allowing the plant to respond naturally to the seasonal conditions that trigger flowering. And this is an important point. If your Christmas cactus is healthy but still refuses to bloom, don't assume that adding more fertilizer is the answer. Christmas cactus flowering is strongly influenced by environmental cues, especially changes in day length and temperature. Excessive nitrogen or constantly encouraging soft new growth can actually work against the goal of getting flowers. So think of homemade solutions as optional supplements, not magic bloom boosters. The plant still needs the fundamentals: bright indirect light, good drainage, careful watering, suitable temperatures, mature stems, and the right seasonal conditions. With consistent care over the following months, you may begin seeing a dramatic difference. After roughly 3 months, a healthy established Christmas cactus may start producing numerous flower buds when its environmental conditions are right. Instead of seeing only green stems, you may notice small buds forming along the mature segments. As the buds grow, avoid unnecessary movement, sudden environmental changes, overwatering, or heavy pruning because stress during the budding period can cause buds to drop. When the flowering season arrives, a well-cared-for Christmas cactus can reward you with colorful, vibrant flowers that transform an ordinary pot into a beautiful indoor display. Meanwhile, the propagated cuttings should continue developing their own root systems and producing fresh stem segments. Over time, those tiny cuttings can become sturdy young plants, producing new growth and eventually reaching the maturity needed for their own future flowering cycles. What began as a few small pieces removed from an old plant can eventually become several new Christmas cactus plants, giving you more greenery without needing to buy new plants. But remember, every plant develops at its own speed. Some cuttings root quickly, while others need additional time. Some mature Christmas cacti bloom heavily, while others need a longer adjustment period before producing buds. Don't compare your plant's progress too closely with someone else's. Watch your own plant, observe its leaves, roots, growth, and environment, and make changes gradually. Gardening is not about forcing nature to work overnight. It's about creating conditions that allow the plant to do what it naturally knows how to do. If you would like more practical tips for getting your Christmas cactus to produce more flowers, keeping the blooms looking beautiful for longer, and maintaining healthy growth throughout the year, let me know in the comments. And if you found this guide useful, please like the video, subscribe to the Senior Garden Guide, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our next houseplant care tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Keep caring for your plants with patience, and I'll see you in the next video.